to have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe to toe with me on that?
Like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Five. It's the four of us tonight. It's Monday, and it is November the 24th, the day after a horrendous, absolute shocking horror show at the Emirates. We're here to digest and analyse and discuss, hopefully with some healthy debate. And judging by what I've seen on WhatsApp today from these three, I think it's going to be a lively one. Before I come and find out how they are doing, I hope you guys in the chat are all doing fantastic stuff, keeping happy and healthy, and maybe calm down a little bit, maybe from how you were feeling probably yesterday. But we'll find out throughout the show. So all I ask from you at the get-go and as we go through is to make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe as well if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. That button should be squeezed because just for what it's worth, guys that are listening, I've been talking to a lot of different content creators. A lot of channels, people are getting unsubscribed for some reason. There's a glitch at YouTube. So for all of the channels that you are already subscribed to, take a look and see if you are unsubscribed by mistake. And if you obviously then resubscribe, hit the comment section. Be respectful, be friendly, and mods do the modding. Luba, I'll start with you. Oh, sorry, before I come to that, last bit of admin, guys. We are, of course, also on all of your podcast platforms. We're on Apple, we're on Amazon, and we are on Spotify. You can actually watch the show back on Spotify. So if you do enjoy that sort of platform, then make sure that you give us a follow over there. And ideally, a 5-star rating as well. All of your support is much appreciated. Lubo, how you doing, mate? I see the chat is absolutely flying through already. How you doing, buddy?
All good. All good. Wasn't surprised. Predicted 3-1. I think I've gone level with you in the tipping now, Sean. I think you went for a draw. So I think that takes me
I went 2-0 Arsenal.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it still you went for a draw? Okay.
Johnny and I went for a draw.
So I've extended my lead then.
No, it's still the same. You're still quite clear. Still one clear. Johnny's still going down with the Wolves.
It's amazing what's happening at Wolves. Absolutely shambolic. Stel, good to see you. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yes, as good as you can be after that yesterday. I mean, it's. I thought I'd be calmer today, but I think I'm actually worse. Maybe because I'm consuming a lot of the aftermath content. But smash the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, everybody. Let's do this.
Johnny, my man, how you doing, buddy? You've had a long day. You went to the game yesterday.
Yeah, I got infected down at the Arsenal. Left at 73 minutes. Came home, had a really good wash. Tried to get it out of my system, and you know what? As you get older, guys, you learn to cope for it because it's not life or death. Really, it's much more than that. Look, it is what it is, and I've sort of moved on. I've compartmentalized it. I'm not happy about it. I am fuming about it, but I look forward now to the little game we got on Wednesday against some team from France called PSG. Should be another cakewalk. I'm expecting total meltdown by Saturday evening.
Yeah. By Saturday evening?
Oh, yeah, by Saturday evening, because we have a shocking, absolutely shocking record against Fulham.
Well, for sure. But listen, we'll talk a little bit. We'll give the early sort of preview about what's to come, because obviously right now the conversation is about Thomas Frank and our Tottenham. Is he up to scratch? Is he a Tottenham type of manager? But before we get to that, we have to obviously diagnose exactly what happened yesterday. I just want to start, guys, with the team news and the formation, right? So we started out with Vicario. Obviously, we went to a back three. Danso played on the right hand side of the three. Romero in the middle, and Mickey van der Ven on the left. He went with Destiny Udogie and Jed Spence on the right hand side. Double pivot. about as deep as you could possibly imagine in Polinia and Bentancur. And the top three, I'm not sure if I don't know. I don't even know where Odegaard was supposed to be playing. I'm not even sure if it was like a 3-4-1-2 or if it was a 3-4-3, whatever it was. It was a shambles. But it was Odegaard and it was Kudus and of course our man Richie. Stell, I'll start with you, mate.
Just go in.
Were you? What's that?
Go to me first. Let's just go.
Well, no, we'll probably get into the heavyweight stuff. I just want to kind of just figure out whether or not you. I mean, I've been speaking a lot about this today with various people, but I haven't heard your take. Were you happy with the idea of going to a back three? Were you relatively satisfied with the team sheet, the team before we saw what was on display, just the way we were going to set up?
Sure. I just want to get the elephant out of the room first before we begin, and just tell everyone because we're going to get there at some point. I just want to land it now. I actually don't care. Sorry?
Is that room big enough for an elephant?
We're going to find out. I actually don't care if we keep Frank or not. I don't. That's right now. I'm Ange. Don't care. I'm not Ange. Frank. I'm not Frank.
What's a faux pas?
Because
Faux pas.
Freudian
you know what? It's on my mind because every argument or debate today, people just bring up Ange as like the go-to. If I bring up Ange, I can deflect away from what's happening now. I'm Frank. I don't care. If he stays, he stays. If we change him this month, we change him this month. I no longer care. That's where I'm at with it. I still give him the year. Let's see what he does. But if we do change him, it doesn't bother me in the slightest anymore. With the starting lineup in terms of tactics, I need to make this very, very clear to everyone who's watching, especially Perchy. Yes, you Perchy. We did not go to a back three. Frank, in his post-match press conference, said he played a back five. There's a massive difference. Yeah, the difference is a back three, you play with fullbacks that push up high, and you play with one or two players that sit in front, ideally two, so that if the counter-attack comes down the flanks, one of the centre mids holding mids shifts over to cover the space, and the other holding mid shuffles over to intercept the winger if he inverts. We did not do that. We played with fullbacks that barely crossed the halfway line. If a fullback did cross over the halfway line like the Dogie, you bet Spence held his position to go into a back four. And if we were to play a back three, you would have played Porro, who is the best wing back at getting forward. Not the best defender, the best one at getting forward. So we didn't do any of that. And the way we played showed that. So we went to a back five. There's a big difference. Am I happy we went to a back five? Absolutely not. No, sure, I'm not. Because what that said to me was, as soon as we stepped onto that pitch, we waved the white flag. We surrendered before kickoff. The tactics were a surrender message to Arsenal saying, we have no intent of scoring. We have no intent of even trying to lay a glove on you. We have no intent of coming here to try and do anything. You just come and have a go. You just come at us as much as you like, and we hope that we can absorb it. We hope that we can contain you. And it catastrophically backfired. You can have poor players. You can have a poor bench. You can have a team that isn't going to do the business on the day. But you don't quit before the game. Don't go into the game saying, we're not even going to give it a go. And that's exactly what we did with those tactics. If Mourinho or Conte did that, people would be asking them to be hanged. They'd be asking for murders of those two managers. Yeah, we went there saying, yeah, do what you want, Arsenal. And they did. They did exactly what they wanted. Look, like I said, you can have a poor group of players. You can have an average bench. But you don't ever go into a game playing not to lose. There's no point turning up then. And what I'll say about it is this. The worst manager I've ever seen, ever, at Spurs, Johnny and Lubo will know better because they've lived longer. They've seen more Spurs games. They've seen more than me. But in my lifetime, the worst manager I've seen was Christian Gross.
Yeah,
he
probably.
was a joke.
Yeah, I would. Although I've seen more managers, I would have. It would be a struggle for me to disagree with that. What about you, Luke?
Me, honestly, Postecoglou by a mile.
That's the deflection angle. We've got to go there. The manager needs to try. Okay, all right. Do you know what? I'm speaking for me. Poch is Ange's the worst manager ever. Planting the seeds. I get it. We're planting the seeds. Christian Gross was the worst manager I've ever seen. The team he had was dog shit. 2 North London derbies, he got 2 draws. He at least gave it a go. I've never seen a Spurs team ever go into a North London derby, even if we know we're not going to win, not even try, man. For me, it's unforgivable. Unforgivable.
It's not just this one, though, still, right? Like, what are the 2 biggest derbies for Tottenham fans?
Yeah, well, off the back of Chelsea, he did it again.
as well, right?
Off the back of Chelsea, again.
Chelsea at home.
But I mean, we're going to get into it deeper, but just because you asked me about this game.
Yeah.
He just walked in there and waved the white flag. And especially when you said before the game, he's got a habit now of saying things before games and doing the opposite. I know how important this game is. We're going to play high tempo. Just stop talking. Like, Frank, honestly, stop talking before games and just go and do the best you can on the match day. That's where I'm at with it. And it's not just because of this game I've now pivoted to I don't care whether he stays or go. This has been building up for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'll wrap up what I'm going to say. Every week I come on this show and I say, we're not resilient. We're not this good defensive side. We've been getting lucky. We've been getting carved open in so many games. We are much more wide open than what people are describing. We are going to get a thrashing sooner or later because this luck is going to run out. And every week I get pushback.
I think we had it yesterday, didn't we? We had a thrashing.
Yes. Yesterday has been coming for weeks, Johnny, because the misrepresentation of what's really been going on, pretty much every game bar 3 games this season. Mate, we're not this solid defensive great team people make out to be. And if you think I'm wrong, 12 games last season, we conceded less goals. 12 games last season.
Okay, let's cherry pick, right? Because if you're going to
I'm comparing like for like. 12 games.
12 games before he had his injuries, and now we're comparing it to the 12 games where he's had all his injuries, right? We can all cherry pick because that's what.
Okay. The flip side, all of Frank's signings, all of his signings were fit yesterday to play. All of them, his signings.
They were all fit, were they? If you think Kolo Muani was fit, mate, he was wearing a Superman fucking mask. I mean, like,
Harry Kane played
Hannibal Lecter, wasn't it?
Hannibal Lecter. At the end of the day, no one can.
People don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear it, Johnny. That's what it is. People are so scared of hearing it.
It's not a case of scared of hearing it. There were people with an agenda before a ball was kicked this season, right? Whether you want to hear that or people want to hear that or not, right? There were people who were mightily pissed off that that Ange got sacked and Thomas Frank got a job.
This has got nothing to do with Ange. I'm judging Frank and what Frank's doing. This isn't about Ange. You're making it about Ange. You and Lubo are taking it down the Ange pathway, and I knew you were going to do this. It's got nothing to do with that.
Let Johnny land first, and then we can come back and forth.
All right.
Right. You made me lose my train of thought, to be truthful with you now.
You were talking about Ange Postecoglou, Johnny.
You're talking about Ange.
No, I'm saying that there were people with agendas before the season started. I'm not going to sit here and defend that performance last night or defend the performance against Chelsea because it's unacceptable, right? Okay? But I'm not going to listen to people who just come in and jump on every defeat and pray for defeat, right? I want my team to win come what may. I don't give a shit who the manager is. I don't care who the manager is. We all know still that wasn't good enough last night. We all know that there's plenty wrong. We all know that it's far from perfect, right? But we also know before the season started, we were all complaining. The attack's not good enough. The midfield's not good enough, right? We all said it. And with all the injuries, it's even worse than what we thought it was going to be. And yet, we're supposed to do something magical. It doesn't excuse that shit performance yesterday because, as I said to Sean in the morning and I posted on our group, we were playing with the back five. I knew we were going to play with the back five, right? I wasn't happy that we were going to play with the back five, but I knew that was what we were going to start. And then I'm thinking to myself, do they really
hang on. Back five or back three? Because I don't.
I said back five. If you look.
I know you did. I know you did. I've never thought of it. I've never distinguished between the two that way. Like I 100% hear the logic of like a back five is just like the wing backs are defensive and versus the back three. I've just always called it a back three.
No, listen. I hear where you're coming from because in my head, I thought I've misunderstood. We're practicing. We're going to play with a back five. I'm thinking you must mean a back three where the wing backs push forward, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't take me very long. It took me about 3 minutes to work out. No, in fact, it is a back five, and our wing backs aren't going forward. Look, I don't really know what to say, Stel, because I'm not going to sit here and defend the indefensible, right? All I'm asking for here is that can we really talk about sacking the manager after 3 months or 4 months when really a lot of what's happened here is a lot of it's out of his hands and it's early stages. I mean, if it carries on like this, there's no way out for him, right? And, when you make some of the comments that you've made, okay, when you say, we need to be aggressive, right? And you're not aggressive and you say we need to go out and attack, better to try and find, and you don't do any of those things, right? Then questions are going to be asked. But I say, right, everyone, I said it earlier on Sean's show, right? Everyone needs to take a slice of the blame pie. That's the manager, that's all the players, not the odd one, right? And the recruitment team. I don't think our recruitment is anywhere near where it should have been. I don't think the manager has done what he should have been doing. And I don't think these players have done anything like they should have done in these two derbies. They should not need to have a motivational speech to understand. They've been at the bloody club long enough to know what it means to play Arsenal and Chelsea, right? We saw against Sunderland last week when Arsenal played them. They didn't know Arsenal, but what did they have? They had fight, they had determination. They wanted to win every single ball. They didn't give up on anything, right? Whereas yesterday, we had Arsenal wanted every throw-in, every second ball, every first ball, every third ball. They didn't want to lose anything, not throwing nothing. We didn't fight for anything. It was like Alan Carr fighting Tyson Fury. That's what it was like. Powder puff. It was embarrassing. And like I said, I've never left the game after 73 minutes. I was disgusted when I walked out that stadium. So I'm not here to defend it, but I'm just asking for some common sense here to understand, yes, we're not happy. Yes, it's not good enough. But there are things that I believe, that are affecting it and need to be addressed.
Okay, fair enough. Good start. Let me just get Lubo.
Sorry, Sean, can I just say one thing to Johnny? Just one thing.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Lubo. When you say the players have got to fight and self-motivate and whatnot, when you send out a group of players and you say your job is to defend for your lives and that's it, they did that for 35 minutes really, really well. But when you have to do that for 90 minutes, there's only so many punches you can take before one of them knocks you out. There's only so much pressure you can handle before a pipe bursts. They literally fought for their lives really, really well for 30 minutes. But because of the way they were set up, Johnny, because of the way they were set up, eventually something landed that they couldn't deal with. No one can sit there and park a bus for 90 minutes. They tried their best. And then once it went to 1-0, we now have to try and do something different.
Stel, with the greatest respect, right? With the greatest respect, yes.
For 30 minutes, we were good. We were good defensively.
I don't think we were good.
For 30 minutes.
No, defending, Sean, defending.
Yeah, okay, but they
had a chance in the 3rd minute that if it wasn't for a worldie save, we would have been 1-0 down in the
Okay, other than that one moment,
Richarlison in that second half, I was saying to Sean, he's come across and he's screaming at defenders. He's
the
pressing.
second half.
Hang on, he's pressing and he's pressing and he's pressing, and no one's there pressing him. Xavi Simons comes on, right? He's lost the ball and he's trotting. He's got no press. He's not doing a thing.
Johnny,
Sorry.
the game was gone. The game was gone after that. 2-0, it was over.
No, come on. That's defeated.
No.
I'm not hearing that. That's bullshit.
Arsenal conceded 1 goal at home all season. At 2-0, it was done.
So, Johnny, just press pause. But we've got another hour and 40 minutes to get more into it. But I want to get Lubo's initial take on the on the strategy. Right, the question was around the formation. Was it right to go to a back 5? Again, just to be clear, I assumed the same thing, right? A back 3, back 5. I assumed that going into that system, you're going to be able to at least try and get some sort of value out of the fullback, out of the wing backs. Yeah. We didn't do it. Just quickly, to me, preface this to you, Lubo, specifically. You score. You Everton has taken the lead. Interesting. You get the you go to that back 3 and back 5, right? So everyone's super deep. You still have 2 of the most defensive midfielders that we've got that's fit in Polinia and Bentancur that are sitting in front, and yet they still offered up throughout the game all the space that Eze could possibly want to have on the edge of the D. I mean, it couldn't have been more defensive in its structure, yet it was still wide open. How does that happen in a Thomas Frank model of system, who's supposed to be someone who's well versed in the art of adaptability and unpredictability with his tactics?
Well, I've been pushing for a back 3 because I feel that with Danso and I would have thought Paro and Udogie as wing backs, there's your 5. It's quite, it's 5 players that slot into, round pegs in round holes. So, when you attack, you've got your 3, you've got your wing backs who push, and when you defend, your wing backs drop in as drop back level with, and you play as a back 5. That's how I've always looked on it. I felt that yesterday. I do agree with Stel. I thought, listen, Arsenal could have been 1 up within a minute when the guy shot point blank at Vicario. The next half an hour, Sean, listen, we were poor. We just kicked the ball up and nobody could hold the ball, and the ball just came straight back. But we did defend it well for half an hour before the floodgates opened. How did I feel about the lineup? Odebear showed that although he's improving, that was levels above where he needed, where he's at the moment. Richie, he played because he was fit, and Moani, health-wise was a risk, fitness-wise was a risk with the mask. So, he didn't really want to play him, did he? But he had him on the bench. For me, the performance was shameful. For me, you go out there and
do you put it down to the players, not for some reason not caring, or do you put it down to the Thomas Franks? Is his style just uninspiring? Is he not the sort of guy that's going to motivate? There has to be some dislocation between what's being on the training ground and what we're seeing, because it can't surely be 95% of this week when they had the team together. Let's just defend like beavers, and every time we get the ball back, just hoof it clear.
No, what bothered me was the lack of effort from the players. When Mourinho chipped the ball over for Trossard to run on for the first goal, I think Kudus and Richie were standing close by, didn't even bother closing down. You looked at all the goals. The goals came
through the middle. How are you blaming Richarlison for that?
Johnny, Marie, listen. That's where it started. Trossard made the run.
He's got 7 defenders, Lou.
Trossard made the run. Danso didn't go with him, and then he got a bit of luck because his shot was going straight at Vicario.
I told you Danzo's crap. I said it.
But
I told you he's crap.
But the whole thing, we were wide open in the middle. all the goals were central. None of them were like ball, winger down the left, Saka putting it in, someone coming in late and scoring. It wasn't like that at all. It was, it was through the middle. I just thought two things I just want to say about yesterday. Number one, it's worrying if Frank can't get the players up. He can't inspire them in the dressing room. That's a concern. I think the bigger concern also for me is that if you're a player and you put that shirt on, and you got that badge on your shirt, you go out and you fucking fight, and you give 100%. Doesn't matter what the score is, you go out and give 100%. And those players didn't. Thought apart from Paulinho in terms of his defending for parts of the game, I thought Vicario again kept the score. I don't know if respectable is the right word, but from being a total thrashing.
Lubo, they did in the cup final. Last year they did in the cup final. They gave everything they had.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was
self-motivation. If you can't get motivated for
I don't get it. I don't get it.
They did when they went to the Emirates last time.
Yeah, I don't know if the players want to play this football. I was talking about this morning. Like, I don't think any player wants to play, kamikaze football, because it's painful getting sucked open all the time. And I don't think any player wants to play football like this. I think that Xavi Simons is jogging around because Xavi Simons looks at his move to Tottenham right now and is thinking, what the fuck did I do coming here 100%. to play in this system? And then every time I play, I'm getting stinker and hooked in the mind of the manager when the manager isn't allowing any of the players around me to support me. And you know what the more scary thing is that we've got a January transfer window coming up where we're going to be trying to convince attacking players to come to Tottenham. And they're looking at the XG against Arsenal and going, and against Chelsea and going 0.05 XG. And the manager still sets the team up every week the same way. Why would I want to come here? It's a graveyard for strikers. It's a graveyard it's like, I don't know, a poison pill for a forward player if they think they're going to come here and the manager's going to continue to set up this way. And I know people say he's only doing it because Rome wasn't built on a day and you have to fix the foundations first. That's an assumption that something's going to change. And I don't know what it's based on, because at the start of his tenure, we were playing more attractive, more progressive football than we are now. It's getting worse. It's regressing. And I don't see the signs. And I don't know why there's this assumption that it's going to move. It's going to pivot towards more attractive football, because it was more attractive in his first game than it is in his last.
Sean, players will see what Frank did for Watkins, for Tony, for Vissa. Yes, they will.
No, they won't. They're looking at the club that they're coming to right now. He's not doing it for Tels. He's not doing it for Kudus. He's not doing it for Simmons. He's not doing it. Our players are regressing, Lubo. They're going backwards. I said this to you so many times.
At the moment, but it's a short period. It's been going back since we came back from the first international window.
This is absolute garbage. What's happened at Tottenham? What's happened at Tottenham is so many fans wanted anybody but Ange. So whoever came in, we've got to jump on this. We've got to back it all the way because it's not Ange. Rather than saying, do you know what? Let's take a step back. Who have we put as manager? What credentials have they got? What have they actually done? Maybe we just need to wait and see what they do. They've got to prove themselves. But everyone just put Frank on a pedestal and went all in on him rather than saying, do you know what? Let's just see where this takes us. For me, and I said it many times on this show, Frank has stopped being Frank. The way we set up against PSG, the way we approached the game against Man City was so good to watch. We were solid defensively, well structured, but the energy in the press, the way we committed to winning that ball and being quick on that transition was so good. That Man City performance got me excited this season. I haven't seen anything near that since in terms of the way we pressed the ball. The goal we scored yesterday came from a press in midfield. We don't do that anymore because for some reason, and I don't know why, guys, Frank has stopped being Frank and he's so scared of what the opposition can do. He plays to what they're about 100%. Rather than saying, what can we do? What can we impose on this game to give them some things to think about? And he's just literally become a coward. And I don't know why he's like this, because he's not like that. But he's become this. And there's no reason for it. There's no justification for it, guys. And that's why I'm now, you know what? I don't care what he does anymore. Because if it's like this every week, we're wasting our time, because he stopped believing in himself. He stopped being who he can be.
So get rid of him now, yeah?
No, yeah, but before we come to that conclusion, let's not jump the gun. Let's carry on with
wasting our time. So that is get rid of him.
If he keeps doing this, then what's the point?
You just said we're wasting our time.
If he keeps doing this, if he keeps being a coward and going into games petrified of winning the game because he's scared of losing, then what is the point?
So when you
fans are going to turn on him anyway. Fans will turn on him.
The fans will turn on him, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Listen, I've not come on here to defend the indefensible, right? Just make that clear. And Spurs Digest, right? Agendas, right? I thought Ange was shit, right? I don't give a flyer, right? But I'm not going to sit here and defend Thomas Frank, right, for performances like Chelsea and against what we saw against Arsenal. And I'm not going to sit here and hear him go on about bravery, commitment, and all the rest of it, and not see any of that in our team, right? Not acceptable, okay? But I do think he needs time. There's a difference. Agenda's got to agenda. No, I'm trying to talk rationally.
That's fine. Just fine, Johnny. Are you seeing any reasons? Like, are you basically, not just you, and anyone that is of the mindset that, you know, he wanted to build the foundation first, fix the defense, you know, finishing 17th last year, 22 defeats, all the things we know and have heard. Are you first of all, do you agree that there has been a regression over the season with our performances?
Yes.
And if you do agree, like you say you do, so on that basis, are you concerned then that you're not seeing the progress? You're not seeing us move away from, you know, fixing the foundations, because our defense was really good, but it's getting worse, right?
Well, it was shocking. Hang on, we've gone from shocking to better to regressing, right?
Yeah.
Let's not like, you know.
And at no point
we were better, and we slumped to poor again, right? And up until, you know, the Arsenal game, you know, we weren't conceding 4 goals a game, right?
No, but the Monaco game we could have conceded. Chelsea game we could have conceded far more.
Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm not sitting here defending it. But what I would say to you is I think that, you know, I believe he's looking at that squad and a large proportion of that squad and thinking, I can't do anything with them. I can't do anything with them. I don't believe he's happy with what he's got right now. I mean, why isn't Brennan Johnson playing hardly at all, right? Why is Xavi Simons not getting the minutes? Xavi Simons himself said this is the toughest period in his career where his form is not there and he needs to improve. He didn't say the team needs to improve or the tactics are no good or whatever. He called out his own game, right?
And I respect that, but that doesn't necessarily mean in his mind that he's not happy with.
Correct.
If you're Xavi Simons and you've got a bit of a cockiness, right? Because he said himself he was bought into this club because Thomas Frank sort of, I don't know, for want of a different word, criticised or found weaknesses in his game, whereas every other manager blows smoke up his arse, right?
Correct.
And then he comes here, and most people, I think, I don't know, tell me if you guys disagree and tell me in the chat if you agree or disagree as well. But most people, I think, would sit there and say that the team is so focused on not losing. It's so focused on the defensive side of the game that if you are an attacking player that's dealt the responsibility of being the creator in chief, which most tens are, like, I think you're being hung out to dry by this tactic. And then when you're hooked after 65 minutes, and even the fans are sitting there, they booed the decision to sub him off at the last home game, right?
But do you not think he has any responsibility? I hear what you're saying.
Of course, he needs to be better. Of course, 100%. But if I'm Xavi Simons right now, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I feel like I'm probably getting into victim mentality, and I think there's a justification for it. I feel like he's not getting the service. He's not getting any of the support from the team around him, the midfielders around him. Yes, we haven't got good enough players on the left-hand side for him or up at the top. You know, and we're going to speak about Richarlison, by the way, in a minute, because his stats are actually surprisingly good. But generally speaking, like the setup and the design of
is he a
the
victim?
system.
Is he a victim, Sean? More, I think Papa Sarr is more of a victim.
Yeah, you can make that argument too. Yeah,
personally, because I think
make that argument. Go for it.
I think Papa Sarr has shown enough in the early part of the season to warrant still be. I know he's had the
when he was played in the more advanced of the three, right?
Yeah,
because he was pressing from the front.
Yeah, and I wonder whether or not he was the sacrificial lamb when Xavi came in, and they decided that he's the guy that had to make way. And
fair point.
I think our game has gone down because of that. I think Xavi Simons, he over elaborates, overplay. Look, I could look at all these players, right? I think Kudus has regressed. I don't think Kudus. I think I've said this before. Even when he was playing well, overplays the ball, right? Doesn't look up. Or he seems to be just, I need to beat players. No, mate, you should be looking to get the ball in the box, whip balls into the box. I don't think his game has progressed. I don't think Xavi Simons' game has progressed. I think Odegaard and probably Mickey van der Ven have been the two.
They're the only two.
Yeah, are the only two thus far. But as for Xavi Simons being the victim of Thomas Frank, I don't absolutely buy into it, because there have been many moments in various games where he's had chances and he's overplayed it, or he's just not done. He's not playing with confidence. I think we can clearly all see that he's not playing with confidence, and we all know what confidence does to players. Look at Ollie Watkins, can't score a goal for love nor money. You know, I mean, there's plenty of players.
Johnny, when I look at Spurs, okay, just from my coaching head, the two things I see that are fundamentally killing us right now. First of all, is we've just stopped pressing the game. The way we were squeezing the game, teams just didn't like it. I cannot understand why he stopped doing that. You don't have to have good players to press well. You don't need technically gifted players to squeeze the game.
Right? Sunderland proved that on last week.
And I've used Sunderland as an example of, look what you can do if you've just got the right work ethic and you're set up to do it. We've stopped doing it. This is by design. He has stopped us from doing it, and I don't know why Frank has done it. It doesn't make sense. The second thing that I look at, and I see it week in, week out, our passing and possession as a team is diabolical. It is woeful when we try and move that ball. And when I look at it, what I'm seeing is this. When Ange was here, it was pass. Don't worry about defending. Just ignore the defensive side of the game. And we got cut open, big gaps, players putting out fires, because we just didn't work on defending. What I'm seeing with Frank now is just defend. Don't worry too much about passing, and just try and get it up there to someone. And then the passing's poor, because just like we weren't doing enough defensive drills, I can see we are not doing enough passing drills to maintain a certain standard of passing, because practice, repetition is what keeps you at the level you're at. And as a result, there are no patterns of play in the transition into attack. I can't understand the idea of how we're going to attack, because I don't see it. And I can tell it's because we're not working on it very much. We're working a lot more on defensive play, and just let's hope someone up there does something.
Still,
I don't know why he's doing that either. Unless he did it at Brentford. And the reason he got away with it at Brentford is because he had really good players up front. I don't know.
Just talking as I see it,
our passing's awful, though. Awful.
The passing's dreadful, and we're not talking about Hollywood balls. We're talking about general, simple 10, 15, 20-yard passes.
Yeah.
It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. The only person who tries to play through the lines is Romero. Nobody else does. And it's a massive problem. And for losing possession, we are the worst, I think, in the Premier League. So
this is horrendous. This one here is horrendous, right? Pass into the final third, 43% conversion, 23 out of 53 passes into the final third. If you can't complete more than 50% of your passes into the final third, what hope do you have?
Two touches in their box in their first half. Can I just say that Idris Gueye got sent off after 13 minutes for slapping his own teammate, Michael Keane.
Yeah. And yet, Everton. You know what? I'm watching it. You know what I saw? As soon as I saw that, I saw the Everton coaches rally the players and say, "We need more from you now. You're all going to have to step up." And they're 1-0 up.
Yeah,
and they're holding on nicely.
Slapping your own player.
Yeah, ridiculous. But not sure what was said. Right? Who knows what was said?
That's what happened with Kieran Dyer and who was the guy? Lee Bowyer.
Yeah. But they had a proper punch up on the pitch, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. They had a punch up.
Do you know what, Sean? Some of those passing stats are partly down to how we're set up as well. For example, we're trying to pass it out from the back yesterday with no midfielders. Like who are you planning to pass the ball to? Up front, we want to create passes in the final third. You're playing without a number 10. You don't have a number 10 on the pitch. How are you planning to do it? And this is what I mean by I don't understand.
Well, that's what I think. I think Odebear. I don't know what position Odebear was yesterday still, because in the first 20 minutes I saw him more centrally than I did out wide. I don't really remember. Listen, Odebear had a stinker, but again, I put that down to for me, it's the same recipe. Like I think that whoever's playing in that role that's responsible for trying to create things when Arsenal or when any team when we do win the ball back and we're trying to progress it quickly, you have to remember, right, that the ball travels faster than the man. And when we give the ball to like Kudus, who tries to take a man on and tries to do everything himself, he's got the ball at his feet, which allows all of the progressed opposition to get back and reorganise before we can do anything with it. On those stats thing there yesterday, we had 7 crosses, not one of them successful. Like 18 of 55 long balls, i.e. clearances, were completed. I actually surprised at the fact we actually got 55 clearances in a game. That's a clearance every 45, every 30 seconds, every 28 seconds or something. Every 28 seconds, we're clearing the ball long. What are we doing?
I just can't accept after what happened against Chelsea, you would dare do that again. That you would dare go into a game with that mindset again. And do you know what? I don't want to hear any more apologies from players. Vicario repeated the same speech he said after Chelsea. The word sorry has no meaning to it anymore with these players. We're sorry. No, you're not. You're not sorry because you say it too often. You keep saying sorry, it's because you don't mean it. You know?
They just don't care enough. They don't care enough. For players to turn in performances like that, they don't care enough. Now, for me, it doesn't matter.
What the worst part about it is, right? Thomas Frank says that he's all about joules and work rate, right? We lost. I think we lost 60% of our joules yesterday. So if that's the one area of our game that we're supposed to be working on, and we still get battered. And let's be honest, I know Declan Rice is a baller, and he really is. But Zubimendi's not a monster. He's a very good player. He's a technically fantastic player, but he's not exactly built like a brick shithouse. Like Pellegrini is bigger than him. Bentancur's a bigger geezer than Zubimendi, right? Like, you know, and Zubimendi won most of his duels. So I think that we're playing a little bit scared. And this is the question I wanted to ask you guys is, like I mentioned this morning on the Spurs Talk Show. Do you guys think that there's any chance that the players are a representation of the energy and the mannerisms and the kind of like the personality of the manager? Like you look at Arsenal and then you see what Arteta does on the touchline. It pisses us all off, but he kicks every ball for the team. He's in the faces of the referees, the fourth official, and I feel like Arsenal play with that same sort of energy. Thomas Frank is just a bit more subdued, isn't he? He's sitting there on his tactical board and all that stuff with Cochrane taking notes like a secretary.
He did lose it though, Sean. He did lose it. There was a moment in that first half where he rushed out of his dugout and he was going absolutely mental. But you're 100% right. But look, the dark arts, right? They're on another level. When we scored that goal and the momentum changed for that brief moment, right? Yes, it was a freak goal. He came out of nothing, but games can change on that, right? I'm not saying we would have ever gone on to win the game or get anything back, but what you saw was the second we scored that goal, and they could see the Spurs fans were up, the players suddenly believe, oh, maybe something could happen now, right? They went to just touching the player. They were down on the ground. They were rolling around. They were screaming for every challenge, right? They were going down in injury. They went down on the ground. Did you see the thing when one of them went down on the ground and he got up, but the two kit men, the medical guys, ran across the pitch one after the other, right, to delay the game again, right? And then they were fucking around with the free kick, breaking momentum. All of these little things which seem like nothing are everything. It's the detail, every single thing. Being in the ref's face, appealing for every throw-in, diving. I mean, some of the touches, just touching them on the back like that, they were down on that ground.
Michael Oliver gave everything. I mean, Saka like took advantage of all that stuff. The entire
everything. And
the guy's rolling around the ground, and as soon as Romero got booked, the guy gets up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's look.
Oliver's poor. He is the most overrated referee I can absolutely.
He hates us.
He is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
He hates us.
He gave everything he could to Saka in that first 10 minutes or first half an hour.
That tackle on Van der Ven. How high?
He got nothing.
It's not why we got battered, though, is it? Though?
No, it's not. No, but
it's
listen,
not why we got battered.
The point here,
we're not saying it influenced the game. But what I'm saying, another time, Stel, you take Van der Ven out that high, you refer it to VAR for violent play.
That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is
slowing down the game, running down the clock,
of experience, playing the game, using the game, knowing how to look. He was never. Do you know how many times he was never in his box? There was one moment where he was actually in Thomas Frank's box. Right, we went to take a throw in, and he's blocking the path. Right, this is them. They're in the. They know every trick in the book, and they practice it. They practice it morning, noon, and night. Right, and these little things that we think are insignificant make the difference.
But we allowed that. We allowed it by not getting in their faces. We allowed it by not pushing back. But I go back to what I said earlier. We were set up not to push back. We were set up just to consume this. Just take it all. Take it all.
Let me take some super chats, guys.
Sean, Jordan is right. Vicario was wasting time from very early on.
Listen, I actually am getting a little bit annoyed with the way that we, whenever we do win a free kick, the amount of time that it takes for us to set up throw-ins and all that stuff as well. It breaks the momentum. I used to get so annoyed when Newcastle last season would get a 1-0 lead and then would just chew up the time on the clock because they were taking advantage of the fact they were in front. We're chasing a game and it still takes us a minute and a half to get set up for a free kick or a throw, and it drives me up the wall.
We were all joking, Sean. Oh, look at him. He's protecting the 3-1 defeat. I mean, it was
absolute madness. Absolute
Vicario has got very poor distribution with his feet, and he's taken our free kicks.
Oh no,
he's taking our free kicks. Why?
Yeah. You can't make it up, can you? Let me do some super chats, guys, and then we'll get back into it. I've got some other topics for us to talk about as well. Big up to you, Cat Funt. Big up to you, my man. Super sticker train, guys. It well and truly has commenced. Choo to you. Choo. In fact, there's 800 people in the house. Love to see it. If everybody put in a 99 super chat, then
we can go on holiday.
We could go on holiday. Yeah, we'll do the next show on location. I appreciate you very much indeed, Cat Funt. Very, very nice of you, man. Always here, always supporting. Luke Wardle, big up to you, buddy. He says, I put a super chat in last week saying the game could be a springboard. F me. That was more of a deflated, bouncy castle. One where you break your ankle on the landing. There's no process to trust. Yeah, look, like I say, I understand why people are feeling that way at the moment. It really does sort of feel a little bit deflating in... like I say, that's why I asked the question, are we seeing any reason to believe that fixing the foundations is the first phase, but there's more to come? I don't know. I don't really see anything to really sort of give that backing. But appreciate the super chat very much indeed, Luke. Thank you very much. Super early birds, big up to you. Thank you very much indeed. He says the kids have to buy some big presents in January or another depressing season for Spurs. Need at least 4 times £50 million players. Can't see it happening. I think we'll come to the transfer window at the end of the show, like we always do. We always find some time for some transfer rumours. There's a couple of interesting ones out over the last couple of days, but we shall see. Thank you very much indeed, my man. It's definitely an important part of this season. It's a story. I think someone said it earlier. Maybe if the Lewises screw up, it might actually end up giving Thomas Frank, if he's still here, a reprieve, because February the 1st, the Enoch out banners will surely be charging. And Trek 88, big up to you, my man. He said, or lady, he says Spurs versus Fulham 1-1, 1 shot in the first half. Is that a prediction, or is that the last time? No, the last season we actually.
Obviously, a time traveller, Sean.
No, we drew with them, Sean. We drew with them. We scored a late equaliser, I think.
Is that from last season? That's last season's game.
Trek 88. Sean's got a show called The Rabbit Hole. If you want to go on there, because you're obviously, as I said, a time traveller, and no,
is he saying that, or is he saying this is the scoreline from last season? We had 1 shot in the first half. We might have had that 1 shot in the first half last season, didn't we? Come on, Lubo. You're an encyclopedia of all things. Get your book out, mate. Get your program out. Come on.
Fulham at home. Where are we?
Appreciate you, Trek 88. Thank you very much for the super chat.
It was a 1-1 draw, 1st of December.
I'm going to go and find out on the Sofa Score whether it was
100% correct. Johnson did score. There you go.
There you go. Brendan scored.
Backdoor Johnson.
Listen, guys, my screen's gone a bit crazy, so I'm going to have to log out and log back in. But I'll leave you with a question. A good question. We do have PSG coming up. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about that game now as well. But the question that was asked earlier on, I think it was Sava actually who asked it earlier. I think it was a really good one. Is there an argument to say that Tottenham's exit from the from the Champions League could be a better thing than a worse thing? If in terms of trying to get back to having 1 game a week and having more time on the training ground to see this sort of system develop. I'll start with I don't know, Lubo. I'll start with you on this one, mate. I'll be back in 1 second, guys.
No, I can't agree with that. I don't agree with losing at all with anything. I was expecting it yesterday. Still felt sick, having lost to them, particularly the way we did. I just listen. If we get into the playoffs, it's probably as far as we're going to go. You've got to remember this. The team. I know people say, it wasn't a true reflection. It was an anomaly, 17th position. But we were there for a reason. We haven't improved too much in terms of players this season. We're still waiting for Simmons to settle in. Moyes hardly played. We lost Maddison and some, and we've gained Kudus and Polina. So there hasn't been too big a change in personnel. And for me, I think we'll get into the last 32. No, sorry, last 24. Last 24. If we get through the playoffs, I'm sure we'll probably play a monster team in the last 16, and that will be that. And then Frank's got plenty of time over the last two and a half months to get the team up and running. I just think that if the club are in the Champions League and there's
it's an extra 2 games in February, right? So, and then if you win that, then you go into the last 16. Then it's an extra 2 games as well. We're not going to get past the quarterfinals, are we? Let's be honest.
We won't get to the quarterfinals, which are in April.
Right. Yeah.
So for me, you just do your best. You just go out and try and win. I understand the arguments, the fact that if we had lost in Bilbao, then Frank would have had pretty much most weeks, all week, to to coach the team and to drill the system in place, and maybe we wouldn't have had as many injuries, possibly. Maybe he'd have dealt with things a little bit differently. Maybe with the pressing, maybe he presses less because players are playing more games now. I don't know. But for me, you do your best in every game. And it's unfortunately, it's not a bad consequence. You win a European trophy, you go in the Champions League. It's not something to to turn your nose up at.
But in terms of this is more from a Thomas Frank perspective. I guess I'm asking, right? In terms of having less games, more time for him to get more minutes on the training ground. Yeah. Is the Champions League a bit of an unwelcome sort of, because he's, like you say, he's not gonna win it. Yes, you try your best. We all want to see it. It's good money. The club will want to participate because it's money and the draw and all that stuff. But ultimately, for Thomas Frank, is he on borrowed time at the moment? I think he is. I think if he doesn't change his model, his system, if we don't play at least some sort of level of attractive football and look like we're a team that's supposed to be, trying to make European spots through the Premier League, then I don't know how much time he's going to have if this doesn't change. And therefore, my point is that having those extra 2 games in a competition that you're not going to win take his time away from the training ground. And so, from his perspective, is the Champions League problematic?
I fancy, more importantly, January with, if you can get in an extra couple of very, very good players, then I think the whole dynamic changes. You're getting players back now. 8 players came back this weekend. We're only down to 4.
Lubo, just argue it, right? If you get the players in January, realistically, say you got them in second week in January. Realistically, how long is it before they get integrated and start contributing to the game?
Christ. That depends, I think, also on whether they're match fit. Are we buying them because they're not getting game time? In which case, they're not match fit and they've got to get up to speed.
It's not instant. Can we agree on that?
It won't. Well, listen. You hope that Kudus. You hope they hit the ground running like Kudus and Polina, don't you?
We're making excuses. We haven't even got to the window yet.
Not making excuses. I'm talking facts. I don't make excuses.
I know. I know. It's just funny because it's always like, look, even if we do get good players in January, they might not be good until April. Poor
no, I'm talking. I'm talking facts. Still, come on, mate. You
could just hit the ground running straight away. I'm going to hit the ground running straight away.
Right, how many players just come in straight away? Boom! First training session, go into the game.
Well, then, if we want players to come in January and do the business straight away, then sign players.
How long has it taken Eze? Weeks.
He's been playing all right though up until then.
Yes, look, he's all right, but now he's starting to show himself.
Kulu and Bentancur came in, and straight away the whole team changed. Kudus came in, turned out to be our best player in the week. Pauline has been consistently good. He's probably the only shining light from yesterday's game, if we're going to try and find one. Look, it depends where we get the players from. If we get them from other Premier League clubs, I think we'll be all right.
Who was the only shining light, sorry?
Paulinho, if we're going to try and find one. Not that he was amazing, but
I thought Richarlison was the only one that seemed to press and do anything.
I thought Richarlison was our man of the match.
Yeah, so did I. So did most people.
In terms of effort, okay. In terms of effort,
and that's saying
Andy scored an absolute worldie. Like
he did score a worldie.
He's absolute worldie that might get on the Puskas nominee list. By the way,
do you know how disturbing it is when the only 2 players to score at the Emirates this season are Haaland and Richie? That's so messed up. It's unbelievable.
Listen, are we as Tottenham fans? You know how everyone who watches, who sees me. They know I never wanted Richarlison, right? As soon as we were linked with him, I was like, don't want the guy. And I've been very consistent, even in his moments of good form. I've been like, it's a moment in time. But I think we just backstage before the show started. Still, if you want to pull up those stats that you got, if you've still got them available, is there an argument that we're being a little bit harsh on him because his season stats are pretty decent when you look at the
he's the 5th joint top goal scorer in the league, tied with Mbeumo, 1 behind Mateta. Out of the top goal scorers, he's joint 2nd for assists. He's up there. He's up there. He's up there with the rest. He's up there.
With no service. Let's be honest.
With no service. Yeah, with no service.
Service.
So is he right? Is he right? Is if he is? I'm not saying he is. But if he is he right to be unhappy with the service he's getting and to be a little bit upset with the fact that he's You know,
100% he should be, and so should anyone playing up front, whether it's Richie, whether it's Solanke, whether it's Mawani. The service up front has been piss poor. We're not getting enough balls in. I don't want to see Kudus beat the man 6 times, right, and then pass backwards. Beat your man, cross the ball. That's it. None of the bullshit that goes with it. Odegaard, beat your man, cross the ball. That's it. Old-fashioned, mate. Get the ball in the box. You got a striker.
We had 0 completed crosses yesterday. 0 from 12, I think it was, or 7 or something.
It's shocking. It's not good enough. And it's not just this game. It's not, it's been plenty of games. You're screaming, get the ball in, get the ball in, get the ball in. So
is Richarlison going to be furious if Tottenham on January the 1st bring in, I don't know, insert striker here, Ivan Toney or Vlahovic or whoever it is, Samu, whoever we're looking at, if we're looking at one, is Richie right to be, will he be pissed off? And if so, does he have a right to be?
It's just football, right? It's football. But let me tell you something, it won't make any fucking difference if we get Ivan Toney in and we still don't cross the ball, right? It don't matter, right? Victor Osimhen, right? You want to go and get a top player, forget about Toney, just go and get Victor Osimhen. Go and spend £80 million, get Victor Osimhen, put him up front. You still need to cross the ball, right? But he can hold up the ball, he can press. He won't. He'll go. Him and his agent will sit down and show me Tottenham's highlights from this season and go, nope, no,
no, thank you. That's what I'm worried about. I'm genuinely worried that we're going up. We're looking into the striker market and the winger market, and these guys are going to looking at the system so far and going, it's all very well saying it's going to change, but how do I know? How do I know it's going to change?
Going back to the question you asked before about the Champions League going out. No one wants to go out of the Champions League. No one wants to lose a game. But there is a question that would you rather, Lubo, compete like we are now, go out and allow ourselves to actually get to a situation where we can actually finish stronger because of the coaching, the available time, and actually go in to finish in the top 5 and compete again next year with a year under the belt, with a potentially better squad to compete higher position? Or would you like to drag it out and, just fall away in the league as well? I'm just saying maybe that is a thing. Not saying I want it, but let's be realistic. We all said that this squad, Ange himself said this squad is nowhere near good enough to compete in the Europa League and the Premier League. Not a chance. He said it. He said it on numerous occasions.
I agree.
Therefore, let me just finish. So therefore, are we wrong to assume that this squad, even with the additions, is not really good enough? Did any of us think this squad was good enough to compete in the Champions League? I certainly didn't.
This is not a Champions League squad.
Exactly.
It's nowhere near a Champions League squad.
There's a bit of revisionism here. At the start of the season, when we predicted where do we think Spurs will finish, what do we think we will do, I said on this show, it depends what competitions we're in. If we stay in all 4 competitions, we are going to have a disaster all over the shop. This squad and every squad we've had in the last 25 years cannot deal with multiple competitions. Managers figure that out, and then what they do is they choose. Chose Premier League, Champions League, mugged off the cups. He did it every single year. Ange mugged off the league and said, just Europa and Carabao. They're the 2 he focused on. He mugged off everything else. And I said at the start of the season, Frank's going to realise very quickly either he's going to finish high in the league or he's going to try and win a trophy. If he tries to do so, he's going to come unstuck. And I remember saying this to all of you guys. If he cares more about the league and getting in the top 4, top 6, keeping us in Europe, the best thing that he could do is to crash out the Champions League, focus on the league and go all out for the Carabao Cup, which is the easiest trophy to win. So if he just focuses on Carabao Cup and league...
It's not the easiest trophy to win.
It's not.
Sure, wait, hold on. In my opinion, out of the FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Champions League and Premier League, I think it's the easiest one of those 4. Just my opinion. So if he just focuses on that cup and the league position, mugs off everything else, that's the best chance he's got. And the response I got was, you can't do that. Champions League's about money. Champions League, we need the money. You've got to stay in the Champions League. And by the way, that's the argument Sava put to me. He said, no, Champions League money, Champions League money. I said, okay, but if we do that, we are going to suffer. Now the question is, should we go out the Champions League? This is what I said at the start of the season.
No, hang on. Hold up. I see people in the comments when I think it was Spurs Digest or someone was saying, I can't believe we're asking this question.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking it from a what's best for Tottenham. I'm saying what's best for Thomas Frank in terms of buying him time against a baying crowd, a baying fan base that are not happy with what they're seeing. And I'm saying the only way that he's going to expedite the ability to show us what he's really about is by having more minutes on the training ground. I'm not talking about what's good for Tottenham fans, what's good for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm talking about the question was based around what's good for Thomas Frank. Just quickly, though, before you come back.
One game a week, just like Ange had his first season, is the best thing for Frank. One game a week. Whatever game that is, that's the best thing for the manager with this squad.
The FA Cup, though, has its own dedicated weekends. The Carabao Cup gets squeezed in around European football, and so I understand the argument that a lot of things.
I can agree with that.
Okay, so the other thing, right? I think a lot of people. I remember back. Sorry, just quickly, Johnny, and I'm done. A lot back in the day, years ago, I used to have this debate all the time: top four or not a trophy. Top four is not a trophy, right? We've all had the debate. For me, I always made the argument that you could like the variants that dictate whether you win a trophy or not. A lot of them is outside of your control. Who you get in the draw, when you get them, where you get them, injuries, bad refereeing decisions, the luck, all that stuff is more impactful than the idea of what happens over the course of the season. The reason why top four for me was always more of a priority wasn't about being in the Champions League. It was about enjoying the season. And if you finish fourth, then you're generally going to have won. You're probably going to get to about 70 points. You're generally going to have won a lot of your games, and so you're going to have enjoyed the majority of your weekends watching your football club over the course of the season. And we saw last year, most fans hated the season until the final couple of weeks when we finally got past Bodo, and then we went and did like the 3 days in Bilbao, and it was a good time. At the moment, though, if Thomas Frank does this sort of football and finds a way to shoehorn himself into a top 5 battle for the Champions League, but does it in the way that he's playing football, where you go like the Everton game is a great example, right? Horrendous to watch, an awful experience, but we managed to win the game. If Thomas Frank can turn around some of these results and still, without playing good football, and still shoehorn us into a Champions League spot, I'm not sure that the argument around top 4 for me still holds water, because I want to see football. Like Tottenham Hotspur are not going to win a lot of trophies. They're not going to get relegated, but they're not going to win the Champions League. You're not going to win the title anytime soon, and you might get lucky in a trophy, but it's not my trophy anyway, right? It's not my name on the cup. It doesn't sit in my trophy cabinet. I'm an irrelevant observer of other people's success and failure. So I just want to enjoy it. And if I'm not enjoying the football, then it doesn't matter whether it's in the Cups. It doesn't matter whether it's in the Champions League or if it's in the Premier League. I want to see football that is enjoyable. And I think that's like when it comes down to what tournament needs to be prioritized, to me, prioritize some level of entertainment. That's still a priority for me, more so than what cup is more important than the other one.
Yeah, but Sean, at the start of the season when we had these conversations, you were one of the people that was saying we've got to get into the positions where we earn the most money. It's about getting the money in to fund the transfers. This was the whole argument.
Yeah, but you can get through that. The point
doesn't mean. Sorry, Johnny. Yeah, go on, carry on.
I was just going to say the point I was trying to make. I think there's a balance here. Sean and I were talking about on the show before about even if you make it through the group stages, the money that's available now is far away from what we were making when we went to the Champions League final. Just qualifying for the group, past the group stages, made a huge difference. We did the numbers. I mean, there was teams making 80, 90 million pounds making it through the group stages from the TV money, because we're in the UK, winning games.
I think Liverpool made 99 or 101 million euros by about game week 7, I think it was, of last season's Champions League, when you include all of the kickers, all of the other things.
So we made 46 million by the second game.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here is that we can make it through to the knockout stages, which I think we can do, right? And even if we get knocked out in those knockout stages, we still make a significant amount of money being out in February, right? Which will still give us enough time to go back to one game a week.
But what if it affects us in the league in that process? What if we're kind of 15th, 16th by the time we get there?
Well, look, I'm not advocating.
I'm asking a question, Johnny, because when Ange finished 17th but got us into the Champions League, everyone moaned about 17th. So are we now saying it's okay to fall in the league as long as we get into the playoffs?
Come on, no, I'm not having.
No, I'm asking because that's what happened last season. That's exactly what happened.
Between the Europa League and the Champions League, sorry, it's chalk and cheese. Okay, it's chalk and cheese.
But he prioritised that. That's what I'm saying. So are you saying now just prioritise getting into the knockouts, even if we drop in the league because we're playing?
Not prioritise. Treat it with the respect. Treat it with the necessary respect.
Yeah, the question was, can we manage all these games? Something has to give. No,
I'm not saying prioritise. What I'm saying to you is that we need to be doing both. There's enough games. There's not.
Johnny, we can't look at us. We can't. We can't do both. Look at us.
Right,
we're struggling.
Right.
Do you think? Okay, on that. So PSG, right? Should we go and play? Who have we got? We got Fulham on Saturday. No Romero.
Sure,
Romero can't play on Saturday.
Okay, go on. Romero can't play Saturday. Yeah. He's suspended.
So Romero will 100% play on Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, look, all I'm saying to you is,
I think tomorrow, no matter what we do, we're fucked. And I'm not blaming Frank for tomorrow. Tomorrow's one game I will not put on Frank. I think we're just fucked regardless, whatever we do. Whatever formation, whatever team, attacking, defending. PSG are the dogs' bogs, and we're going to walk into their ground, mate. Let's pray to God we just don't get absolutely battered, and it's only 2 or 3-0. Honestly,
my point I'm trying to make here is that
it's just
between now and Stell, let me finish, mate. Between now and the end of the initial phase of the group, we've got how many more games? 4, is it?
4 more games, yeah.
4 more.
And possibly a playoff, 2 games.
Slavia Prague, right? We shouldn't have a problem with, okay? Theoretically. If we get through the games, if we get through those games, I still hope that we are capable of winning games or keeping, 4 or 5 points off of top 5, right? To the point there, when we do get knocked out, which inevitably we will be knocked out the Champions League, probably in the next knockout phase, the way we are set up, unless we get a whole load of players back, then I believe that from that point in, we are capable of actually going on a run in the league. Because I think by that point, we will have the likes of Kulu back, Jan Feb, and other players that we will be stronger in the squad, and we will be capable of.
Johnny, are we guilty of misremembering the draw that we got? Like, that draw was essentially a Europa League draw, with the exception of PSG, right? Yeah. If we don't qualify, if we somehow screw it up,
Borussia Dortmund.
A lot of people were saying, okay, but there wasn't many easier. In terms of from in the pot, the seeds, all that stuff, the way it could have fallen, it couldn't have fallen much better.
We said it would be failure.
If we somehow screw up the Champions League, it's really a massive failure, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I don't believe we won't qualify for the knockout stages. I didn't expect us, like all the people saying, "Oh, we should qualify top 8." I mean, last year, PSG and Real Madrid scraped through at the death in the final game. Yeah. It's there ain't any easy games in the Champions League. Simple as that, right? I don't believe there are. Look, we saw, what was it, Paphos win a game the other week, right? Yep. Who'd have thought? Who'd have ever seen that one coming? Or who'd have ever?
They beat Villarreal, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. It was an incredible thing. There's no easy games. And Villarreal were like 3rd in the La Liga. So, Look, I nothing's easy, but I'm not going to write it off. But would I like to make the money? 100%. But I want to be in it next year. with a better team, because I don't think this team's anywhere near good enough to make any sort of serious impression in the Champions League. I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to qualify in the top 8, right?
No.
Well, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. I don't care where we finish. As long as we're in the knockout stage, I don't.
The only
There
way
is a benefit to finishing 9th versus finishing 24th, right?
Well, you'd say that. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool finished first and ended up playing PSG.
Real Madrid. Yeah, PSG.
No.
Yeah, I hear you, but theoretically, statistically, you would expect that the team who finished 24th is probably weaker than the team who finishes 9th.
You would think so. You would certainly think so. Yes.
And 9th to 16th to get the second leg at home as well. So
yeah,
you know,
and then the advantage goes, which I don't get. That's the maddest rule.
Yeah, only in the last 16 does your 1 to 8 qualify actually count. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. What's the point of that? What's the point? You qualify at the top and then you lose all your advantage going through to the next round. It's all about a AI guy who magically pulls the balls out. I love that one.
The only way in the very and I'm believe me, I'm probably dreaming a little bit here. The only way we would qualify for the top 8 is if we win the last 3 games, which you got Slavia Prague and Dortmund at home and the away game with Frankfurt, which we also won last year, didn't we? So we'll see. Listen, it's doubtful, but it's possible. But Wednesday night, would you play? Would you sort of rotate a little bit Wednesday night, possibly?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm going to rotate my chair so I'm looking out the window and not watching the fucking television.
Lubo, do you know what?
I'm so sorry I've got that. I'm so I can't believe.
What is that?
That's my ticket. That's my ticket with the.
Do you know what? I said for the Arsenal game, you know, you've got to give it a go. You've got to fight. You can't just give in. I just feel no matter what we do tomorrow, it's not going to happen. The worst thing you could ask for after that Arsenal game is to either play Arsenal again or play PSG away. I don't know what could be the worst game after the Arsenal game. If this was a neutral ground or at our ground, you'd say, do you know what? Let's get our hopes up and probably end up being sad afterwards. But I don't see how we walk into Parc des Princes, hostile as hell, with their team and our team the way we are at the moment, and just suddenly flick a switch and we'll do it.
Well, look, we did it in the Super Cup. Though. I don't know how much the stadium had to do with the Super Cup thing, right? Like we were very, very good for 80 minutes in the Super Cup.
They had no pre-season. That's the fact.
Yeah, but they're missing. Aren't they missing the majority of their forward line?
Yeah,
Bradley Barcolla's out. Desiree Doué's out. I'm sure they're missing quite a lot of their. Who is it? Lugo, Dembele, Doué, and Hakimi are out.
Yeah, Dembele's back. Dembele's back. Well, look, if anyone thinks we can beat PSG and there's a way of getting into them and winning the game, then listen, fair play. I personally think it's damage limitation tomorrow. I want to be wrong. Be wrong, but I think Frank gets a pass tomorrow.
Still, can I ask you a question? Question. If by some miracle Thomas Frank gets a victory tomorrow, right?
I'll praise the hell out of him.
What will you say when you come on Thursday?
Listen,
it ain't going to happen, but
if Frank gets a win against PSG, I will do a 10-minute video praising the hell out of him, because that would be a fantastic achievement.
I think a draw would be an incredible.
You know what the problem is, though, Johnny, right?
Yeah.
The amount of effort will go to get a draw. This is why I still maintain this, and people always sort of roll their eyes. I think draws are like playing for a draw. Like, we're undefeated in the Champions League. There's only 5 teams that are undefeated in the Champions League, like the top 4, and then us, who are sitting in 10th. You know, if we draw tomorrow, we're on 9 points. A team can have lost 2 games and be on the same amount of points.
No, but drawing with I hear you, and you're not wrong. But this is
draws are shit.
This drawing against PSG away is something that is definitely going to boost your belief and your confidence in your squad, your team, players. 100%.
That's fair.
But
Arsenal couldn't beat them or get a draw, didn't they? They drew at the Emirates, then lost in Parc des Princes. Was that right last year?
They lost out there, didn't they? They did have a better XG. They did have a better XG than Real Madrid, though.
Was it more than 0.05?
It was.
Was it?
Can we get so we got 0.07 against Chelsea, 0.07 against Arsenal, 0.05 against Chelsea. Do we go up a little bit tomorrow? Do we go on Wednesday? Do we get to 0.15 or something? Do we at least get something more out of it?
Well, as long as we get the ball to Richie, we'll be up at 1 or 2.
I'll tell you one shining light for the PSG game. Their goalie's not that good. Their goalie really is not that good at all. He's not near.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
They wanted a ball player, didn't they? They wanted someone who's better with the ball.
The question is, are we going to set up to create and get shots away to test the goalie? Are we going to go there and actually...
Would you go against that lot?
I personally would, because you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, imagine the scenario. He goes gung-ho, everyone says, typical. He goes back 5 against Arsenal, and he goes gung-ho against PSG. This manager's fucking clueless, right? We get beat 6-0 or an 8-2 like we did against Bayern Munich, and I think the wheels would come off. So I don't know.
Goal difference matters. That's a good point. Goal difference matters, TDID forever. Well done.
Yeah.
Because it does, I think that last season it was goal difference that separated 24th from 25th and that sort of thing, wasn't it? And 8th from 9th. So
what do we do then? We go there for a draw?
No, I think we go and set up the way we did last time. I think that probably the back 3, the back 5 thing, whatever, against Arsenal was a precursor to what we're going to do on PSG for PSG. I think I think that we'll do exactly the same thing. I think we'll try and lump it up. Who played up front? It was Richie and Kudus, wasn't it, in the PSG in the Super Cup?
I think it's Richie and Kudus. But what I'd like to see is play the back. I'd like to see us rotate. So I'm happy if it's only Destiny that's pushing forward, and Jed is inverted slightly. We're going to play like that and then rotate. But to have all 5 of them back the whole time, waste of time. Because our distribution, we've got a goalkeeper that can't kick a fucking ball.
I think you've got to drop Bentancur personally.
Well, I think he will get dropped. I think there's a reason.
Absolutely, yeah. He stunk the place out on the. And also, I didn't understand why Polinia, when Polinia did that challenge on Zubamendi, and it was a fantastic challenge, and it fell to Richie for the worldie. I remember thinking, why is Polinia like 25 yards up the pitch? Where's Bentancur then? And then, because I was so used to seeing, both of them sat basically in the D or in their own box, but yeah, Bentancur was playing the deeper of the two, and I'm like surprised by that, and I couldn't really put my finger on why it was that if you're going to play a double pivot, but you're going to let one of them go, it was Polinia that plays more advanced. And I went back and looked at the heat maps, and every time they played together, it's actually Polinia that has a more advanced heat map than Bentancur. And I think Bentancur's been generally speaking, I think he's been poor this season. And I like Polinia, I love him, but I'm just surprised that of the two that they would say if one's going to go and one's going to stay, it's Polinia that gets to go. Is it because he can press more? I don't know why. He hasn't got the legs that Bentancur should have. Maybe he's just better at tackling, and therefore tackling in the middle of the park is more appropriate. Any thoughts on that, Lubo?
I'd leave Bentancur out. I'd play Polinia with Sarr and Bergvall. I'd bring Bergvall back in for it.
Will you go back 4 then?
No, I would probably push Bergvall up, possibly as a false 9. I'd play Richie there, or play Bergvall just off Richie. I'd play the back 3. I'd have, not sure, Porro or Spence either, with Udogie. I'd have Polinia and Sarr. So there's 7. There's 8 players. Kudus, Richie.
You said Richie already. So you're putting Bergvall next to Richie, or you putting Kudus next to Richie and Bergvall behind?
I play Bergvall just behind.
But Kudus advanced as an outlet.
Yeah.
Can I ask, is Luani cup tied?
No.
No,
No,
so
he played against Villarreal, didn't he?
Oh, well, because his host club's PSG. I'm not sure. I don't know, to be honest.
No, I don't think
No, that rule was dropped by UEFA a couple of years ago.
So basically, what I would say is that it's a real shame that his mask is going to hamper any real chance of him playing properly, because here's a guy who's got points to prove, and is capable. He's one of the few players up front who's got the skill and the technique to actually inflict some sort of damage to them. I'm gutted that Maguire did that to him, because, you know, we saw that touch for Odegaard's goal and some of the other little touches he had. And the fact that, he fucked up 2 very good chances provided by Xavi Simons, but he got himself into those positions, and that's something that we haven't been doing very much. So, I don't know how bad it is playing with the mask. But
I wonder if could you take out Odegaard and put Moani in and let them just sort of float, let them have sort of 3 target men essentially, like Kudus, Richarlison, and Kolo Moani.
I'd love to see.
You are essentially going to be under the cosh for 90 minutes. You are going to be banging the ball long, but we just didn't have any. We didn't have any outlets that were able to sort of get the ball and actually keep hold of it.
Well, Moani's capable of trapping the ball, holding the ball up. He can take it on his chest. He's very good in that scenario. But the thing is, really, how feasible is it for him to play any sort of minutes with that flipping gimp mask on? Really?
How many minutes did he get yesterday?
What was it, 15 or something? I lost track. I left. So 25 minutes. What was it? Lubo's
I'll tell you now.
I'll tell you. Hold on.
Lubo consulter in his chat GPT.
I got it. He came on in the 66th. He came on the 66th minute for Bentancur.
Yeah.
25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I don't know. He's obviously not fit enough to be combative. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I was very disappointed with Odegaard, but listen, it's very important here that what we do as fans is identify the one player that we all dislike, whoever it may be, and hold them accountable for the performance yesterday and the performance against Chelsea. But I think they're all accountable, and they all need to be held accountable, because it's a team game. And, none of them performed against Chelsea. None of them performed against Arsenal yesterday. And that's where I'll leave it. I'm not going to identify.
The problem is, mate, is that you have to, you can't sack 25 players, right?
You can't.
The manager has to take the lion's share of the blame, because he's managing the team. If he can't get them up for it, then that's a problem.
I get it, but we've been here before, as Stel quite rightly says. We've been here, manager after manager after manager after manager, and where do we stop?
I said that.
Sure, Alex Ferguson would have been sacked by now. Arteta would have been sacked at this club had he been at the club. As I said, Alex Ferguson would have been sacked at this club.
Johnny, can we talk about this a second? Because this is something that it kind of scratches away at me.
I gave Ange, just to finish, the 2 years. I never thought January 2024 I'd had enough, but said he needed to be given the 2 years, right? Even though I wasn't.
I look at Frank differently, guys. I do, because as much as he gets the year from me, and I will honour that, I won't back down from it. He'll get the year from me. Whether he goes on or how I feel about it doesn't bother me anymore. But this is something I hear a lot when Spurs fans bring it up as in conversation. Alex Ferguson broke the Scottish monopoly with Aberdeen, won the league there. He beat Bayern Munich and Real Madrid with Aberdeen to win a European trophy. He went to Man United with a lot of pedigree. Klopp did the business in Germany, came to Liverpool with a lot of pedigree. These managers, they were given time, but they had something about them. For me, Frank has not done any...
5 years he was at Man United before he won a trophy.
5 years, but he had something about him before he went there. And as much as he's gone, he had to go, he wasn't good defensively. He had something about him where he at least could send his CV, look, I won in Australia, I won in Japan, I won in Scotland, and I'm going to win here. And he kind of did do it, even if it was the most Mickey Mouse trophy. There's something about them. When I think about Frank, I don't get what he's got about him that is anything special to justify that he's going to be, oh, look what Fergie did. Look what
who would you take? I get you. So who would you? So you wouldn't take Iriola on that, but you would take Glasner because
no. That's a great question. I'll answer it. Frank might be that guy, by the way. Frank might turn out to be that guy. We don't know. We're just going by what we see at the moment. What I wanted and what I thought would be the best thing to do if we're seriously going to restructure, rebuild, new era would have been, there's two options. Either you go for someone that's proven that we can realistically get if we pay the money and we really build a package that is very sellable. There's two options to me. One is Glasner, because he did it at Frankfurt, he did it at Palace, he loses his best players, he still punches above his weight, and he's got a nice balance between attack and defence, and he has proven he can develop players. He is going below the radar still. He would have been someone that I would have said,
he's pragmatic.
but he doesn't neglect the attack.
Yeah.
He's still got that attacking element about him. So that would have been one type of project. The other project I would have gone for, so you know, let the club pick which type of project would have been, he hasn't won anything, but he is, if you want to go for that Poch thing again, can we replicate that? Then it's Iriola, because he's at a club with an 11,000-seater stadium. That's the size of Bournemouth. He's at a club where he's the only manager that got a good season out of Solanke playing Iriola ball. He got Solanke's best season was playing under Iriola.
Correct.
He lost his entire back four in the summer, including two top players, Kirkes and Husin. They're still
Barney. Yeah.
Three. And they're still playing, they're still doing well. And he will please the fans because the football is what a lot of Spurs fans crave for. So I'm not saying they would work, but in terms of a project that you could sell to the fans, that I think fans could say, do you know what? There's something to back here. They're the two I would have gone for as a realistic option. I think Frank is a big gamble because he hasn't won anything and the football isn't good either. So to answer your question, Johnny, I think for what Tottenham fans want and what we can realistically bring in, I think Glasner and Iriola would have been the two projects we should have looked at a bit deeper. Whether we can get them or not, I don't know. But I'd be shocked if we couldn't at least tempt them to go away from Palace and Bournemouth. So,
but what would have happened though, you know, with Iriola, for example, when he went to Bournemouth, you know, he didn't win for his first 10 games. Can a Spurs, you know, look, we've seen what's happened with Thomas Frank. We saw what happened with Nuno. Could we really expect someone like Iriola to come into the club having maybe sacked Ange, sacked Frank, to bring in an Iriola? And he had a situation like that where he didn't win for 10 games. Could we really? I mean, I was speaking to Sean today, and there's rumours and there's noise that West Ham are looking to get rid of Nuno. I mean, yesterday, they on the weekend, they had 24% possession. 24%. I think
I never mentioned Nuno. I wouldn't have had Nuno. I never wanted Nuno in the first place.
No. I'm saying, you know, the appetite to see it out. You know, they've got rid of their manager, and you know, he's come in, Nuno, with the team that's in the shit, right? And they expect instant turnaround. You know, Bournemouth had something like 24 shots. He had 24%.
I get the first 10 games being something that fans have they got the appetite to swallow that. But if you can see progression and let's say Iriola comes and you can see, do you know what, we're trying to play the right way. It's just not quite clicking yet. Maybe the fans will give some leeway, maybe they won't. But what I'm seeing now is a regression. I think we're now regressing.
We had that under Ange, though. That and what look,
Ange's first 10 games we were top of the league. Ange's first 10 games, weren't we?
Yeah, we were top of the league, and you know it was you know, chocolates and roses, and it was fantastic. Even though we were celebrating beating Sheffield United at home in the 99th minute.
But we're talking about the appetite for the first 10 games.
What I'm saying is we got carried away. It was like we were sucked in, we bought the ticket, and no one was turning back. Whatever happened after that Chelsea game, no one was interested. The fact that, you know, we after that, the 18 month after that Chelsea game, we lost something like 34, 35 league games. 34 games, right? Yeah. Everyone forgot about that. I didn't see progression. I saw regression.
Yeah, but we're talking about the start. Your question was about would fans have the appetite to swallow the first game?
What I'm saying is because of Ange and the impact that Ange had in those first 10 games, fans are looking at his first 12 games and saying, well, this is shit. Under Ange, we were top of the table.
Let me ask you all this. If you could do a project where you're going to keep a manager for 2-3 years and back them, who would you have brought in if it was possible? Iriola, Glasner, or somebody else?
I was happy with Thomas. I've got to be honest with you. I've watched Thomas Frank for a number of years, and I think he's a very good coach. If I've got it wrong, and it's, you know, he doesn't cut the mustard, I've got to hold my hands up. But you know,
you would have picked him over Glasner and Iriola, Johnny.
No, I was happy. No, I said I was very happy with him. I would have been happy with Iriola, Glasner, or Frank.
Who would have been your top pick though? If who would have been the main? If you said, Johnny, you're the chairman,
Iriola at the time. Last December, January time. Last January, probably it was Iriola. Probably last January, and then it probably moved on to maybe Glasner, probably. But I was happy to take Thomas Frank because I thought he was a very good coach. You know, I did.
I'd say the biggest worry for me, you know, when we talk about fans and having patience for projects.
Who would you pick, Lubo, by the way? Who would you have picked?
My choice was Glasner. My choice was him. What concerns me, you look at Arsenal now, and they are going to walk this league. And this is, Arteta's been there on Wednesday, will be his 6th anniversary at the club. So how many of our fans, you know, everyone, all the Arsenal fans are delighted. They'll all be on cloud 9 today. You know, they're 6 points clear. They've just whacked their North London rivals. They've conceded what they conceded 6 goals in 12 games. You know, they've had God knows how many clean sheets. They're flying in the Champions League. They've got players for every single place, every single position. How many of our fans would accept a 6-year project to get to there?
None of them.
Well, there's no guarantee.
It depends if you see progression. Arsenal were challenging for a league in season 3. In season 3, they were challenging for the title.
No, they weren't.
Season two, Pochettino was challenging for the league. So it depends if there's a progression.
Sorry. For Arteta, it was 8th, 5th. It was only the last 2 years that he's finished second. How many of our
third season they melted off, but they were in there. They were up there, Johnny.
How many of our fans will accept 8th place this year, 8th place next year, 5th place the year after? Before you start challenging.
Depends how we play.
Of course, if everyone said to me, if everyone knew for a fact that in 5 years' time we were going to be 7 points ahead in the league by November the 24th, I'm sure everyone would top. It's like hypotheticals, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Like you don't know that. Arsenal fans, loads of Arsenal fans, have been Arteta out forever, and now they're having to force to kind of move their agenda and sort of get on board it because they're seeing that it was worth it. But for the longest time, they weren't on board it. And it's only like if they had their way, Arteta would have been gone after season 1 when they were playing shit football and they were really struggling.
Sean, all of our fans can see that we haven't challenged for many, many years properly for the big players, with wages. We've regressed badly since Pochettino 6 years ago. All the fans can see this. All the fans can see what's going on. All the fans can see what went on the last 2 years. And we've had a few weeks where yes, it's gone backwards after a really encouraging start. and all of a sudden you've had three or four bad games or worse games, and people are screaming for his head. This just it's so reaction. It's like hysterical.
It's not hysterical. It's not. It's
Chelsea and Arsenal, Lubo. Chelsea. The other games. Like, I think people can tolerate you can tolerate a loss to Bournemouth, right? You can tolerate individual bad performances, but Chelsea and Arsenal, our two biggest rivals, one of them at home, and we didn't lay a finger on them. Sure. It's unacceptable at any level to allow your team to go out and to not even try.
Sean, I agree, but it doesn't mean the guy's got to lose his job.
I'm not calling for his sacking at all.
I'm talking about the fans. I'm only talking about the fans who are saying at the moment, Frank out. I saw a poll
because questions need to be asked. I remember saying to everyone on this show, this. Frank, when he goes to 2 games a week, the win rate drops dramatically. Everyone deflected away from that. Look at what's happened. This is what I'm saying to you. These are the questions I had before the season started. I said, what happens when he plays 2 games a week? What happens when he's got to go into Europe? He's never done it before. These are the questions I asked, and these are the answers I'm getting at the moment. These are the things I said. So I think because some fans like yourself, Lubo, you dismiss that stuff, which is fine. You know, pick what you want to pick. But this is the reality now. Can he juggle 2 games a week? He's never proven he can do it. Can he manage at a top 6 club? We don't know. He's never done it, which is why I keep saying he has got it all to prove. He has got so much to prove here because he's never proven it before, and that's why questions are being asked.
I've just asked the question myself. Sorry, just a super quick, Stel. Sorry, mate. I've just put a poll up. Okay, simple. Right now, as it stands, are you Frank in or Frank out? If I add more criteria like giving me just in or out, straight up. Let us know how you get on. Let me just take this opportunity to do a couple of super chats as well. As Johnny is
this is the guy. This is where it's all gone wrong. Okay,
I agree with this. I agree.
This is what Spurs is. This is what Spurs was about. This is why I became a Spurs supporter and a Spurs fan. Bill Nicholson. This is what I believe in, and what we're watching now is so far removed.
Statesman of the football clubs, though, Johnny, right? I did a massive review on this 75-year review of all the teams that had successful periods, where the trophies went, who they went to, etc. And it wasn't just money. It wasn't just money that moved the needle. It was, believe it or not, there were 3 main criteria of why teams became successful. 1 was access to resources. 2 was a youth system that supported itself and supported the club. Like a conveyor belt of talent, and 3 was a figurehead, a major figurehead that was at the club during those times of sustainable periods. Let me get rid of that so I can show. During the time of like Nottingham Forest, Brian Clough, Bill Nicholson at Tottenham, Ferguson, Shankly, all these guys. Every time that any team had a sustained period of success, Busby as well. There's one at Ipswich, one at Wolves. I forget who they were, but there's
Robson, Sean Dyche.
David Moyes, even David Moyes to a degree. Well, let's do a super chat. Elias Mangi, lovely name, 7593. He says, and thank you very much for the super chat, Elias. He says, at this stage last season, we copped 14 goals in 13 matches playing Ange Ball. This season, it's 14 goals conceded in 12 matches parking the bus. We had 19 points after 12 games last season. We now have 18.
Yeah, and the difference is, just for clarity here, right, was Ange had all his players at that point, and Thomas Frank has had most of them out at the stage. If it carries on in this manner, I would back these.
Sorry, Johnny. Thomas Frank has had all his defenders, and he's got a top-class number 6. He has not improved us defensively.
Hang on, you can't say improved us defensively. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
He has not. Porro, Spence, Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero, Vicario, Paulinho, all fit pretty much most of the season so far.
Yeah, but you've got to score as well.
Defensively.
This stat here is just about defensively. Defensive stats.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
what I'm saying. Defensively, we're not better, even though Lubo will try and convince you we are.
Hang
We're
on,
not.
hang on. I'll answer this.
No,
Johnny,
you're right, Johnny. You're right. Sorry, Johnny. He does pay
About
points as well.
points.
Sorry. Yeah, it
Hang
does.
on.
It also mentions points. My bad. Sorry.
It's about
Right.
Go on,
I'm
Lubo.
talking about the goals conceded. We're not better
Yeah,
defensively.
okay. Well, we'll have both flip of the coin. What I would say is, I will take that, right? If it was like for like, but let's have some clarity here, right? If it was like for like, I would take that on board and say 100% spot on. Ange did a better job, but I'm just saying, offensively, it's a shit show. He had Maddison for those first 10 games. He had Madison and Kulu were playing fantastic. He had Solanke. We had a far better attack that was playing with Son than we have this year currently fit.
But we actually attacked under Ange. We actually attacked, though. That's all we did.
Actually, still,
We
just to
actually
say that for Ange, this period now when we beat Man City a year ago, this was the best it got, because from here he had 19 points from 12 games.
Yeah, but we can only judge up to now.
Hang on. And
Don't
then
give them facts, Lubo.
No, and then he got that. Hang on. Let me finish. At this stage, he had 19.
Calm down, Sava.
He had 19. He had 19 points from 12 games this time last year. He then got another 19 points
Out of the next 30.
from 26 games.
Yeah.
So it went
You
from
can't
19
compare that to Frank
to
because he hasn't
19
gone past
to
this mark.
26.
You are creating narratives that cannot be compared. You can't compare that. We haven't done that yet.
It goes
You can
down
only judge where we are
here.
now.
Still, with Ange's record in the league last year, it went downhill from here.
Just admit you were wrong to say defensively we're better. The data says you're wrong.
We
Just
are.
admit it.
Listen, if it hadn't been for that one game where he's conceded 4 goals, we would have been much better. Look, we all know that
We're
defensively,
more organised.
still about a week ago, most people said defensively, up until Monaco game, I think we looked better defensively. But since the Monaco game, it's definitely got worse. Definitely.
Can I just say one thing, just to put a bit of light on Spurs' pain at the moment? Right now, Everton, Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham, historically 4 of the biggest clubs in English football, are joint mid-table. We are battling for mid-table.
Right. Everton have just put on a masterclass of stinking out the place. They actually played very well. They played very well with 10 men. Been keeping an eye on it. Man United, Amorim. This makes our disgusting effort against Manchester United even more insufferable, in my opinion. Everyone's telling me United are back. Everyone's telling me United are awesome. They are dusty old Manchester United, and Ruben Amorim is a dusty manager.
Is he going to get the sack? Hang on. 10 men after 13 minutes at home, right?
It's ridiculous.
Questions have to be asked.
Questions have to be asked.
Would you sack Slot? I noticed Slot became one of the.
Johnny, can we say that for the last 10 minutes? Let me just run through the super chat, because I think it's a really interesting question about the manager situation. Let me just do these super chats real quick. Appreciate your lives for that one, mate. Thank you very much. It's a nice little debate we had there on that super chat. Trek88 come back in. Thank you again, Trek. He says on Sunday it will be 1-1, 8 games of evidence, 1 shot. Oh, so he was talking about this Sunday. He is the time traveller. Come and check out Rabbit Hole Ramblings, mate. We talk about that shit all the time over there. Appreciate you very much indeed. Dino Houdini, super sticker from Houdini as standard. Appreciate you very much, Dino. Thank you very much, buddy. I hope you're okay. Choo to you. Tony Rodriguez, member for 8 months. Big up to you, Tony. 8 months? Have we been going that long? Feels like we can't have been going 8 months. You must be a Henry. You're a Henry member.
Yeah.
Today's our 4-month anniversary from the first.
Congratulations.
Where's our frigging cake, guys? Please forward it to Lubo. Lubo will send you his address in the chat.
Don't forward it to Johnny. Whenever Johnny gets forwarded anything for me, I never see it again.
Yeah,
I've had t-shirts I've been waiting on in 6
I've
months.
had hats. Listen, mate, you've got to turn up for a game.
Big up to you, Tony. Big up to you. He says 4-2-2-2. Vicario, Udogi, Van der Ven, Romero and Porro, Bentancur and Paulinho, Xabi Simmons and Sarr, Kolo Muani and Kudus. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But we sort of tried it against United and it stunk the place out. But I was asking for 4-2-2-2 before we did it. Appreciate you, Tony. Thank you very much for the ongoing legacy loyalty to Henry Wright that you've transferred into Spurs 5. We really appreciate it. And here comes biggest donut, the donut mod as well. Now I love it. Danny Kiriaki. Big up to you, Danny. Love you, man. He says, you lot are nuts. How long did it take Arteta to be able to compete in the Champions League and the Prem? 4 years. He got rid of everyone and brought quality. What you expecting with this dross we have? We can't compete. I think we can compete more than we are, though, Danny. I hear the point. That I think everyone knows the point. We do need better players, but we are capable of more than what we're doing. I don't think the squad is as bad as some people suggest.
With this squad, we're 3 points off of fourth. Unbelievable.
Sean, if the problem, right, if all the blame, like Danny's doing, right, Danny, if all the blame is going to go on the players, then why do we sack managers then? Stop sacking managers and sack the players, if that's the argument.
Yeah.
People don't realise they we talk about where Arsenal been in 6 years. Back page of that programme, there's 26 players listed. Arteta inherited 3. He's brought in 23 out of those 26.
Yeah,
that would be the case over 6 years. That would be the case. That would be the case over 6 years.
But top players he's bought, apart from Pepe, most of them have been good buys.
Yeah, Everton with 10 men, who we beat 3-0, just got a 1-0 win away at Man United. 100%. Sunderland, who do not have a better team than Tottenham, drew with Arsenal and beat Chelsea away. Sometimes it's the manager and how he gets the players going and how he sets them up. I'm not saying every time.
No, I hear you. I agree.
Just to blame the players is insane.
I agree.
For any manager to do that. We've
spent as much money net spend. Yes, Arsenal have had their net spend helped by selling a lot of their players that we haven't really done, but we've spent relatively similar amounts of money to Arsenal.
Sean, Arteta won an FA Cup signing no players.
Yeah, but he didn't. It wasn't his FA Cup, was it? He joined that team in the quarterfinal stage.
But the players he got rid of, all of them, he managed to win a trophy with that. But why? How?
Yeah.
The players are
I hear you. Right, last 8 minutes of the show. Although actually, to be honest, we can sort. I know you guys want to finish off at 2 hours, but we don't have to stop religiously at 2 hours because those shorts are ridiculously poor anyway. So there's no. we're doing it for the shorts, so we put the shorts up. It flicks around, gives people epileptic fits. I wanted to ask this question, last question of the night, then, just quickly. Sorry, Johnny.
No,
Arnie Slot. Yes. So the question is, right, and I think Connor made this point earlier this morning. I think it's a good one. You generally don't want to sack a manager mid-season of your football club unless either relegation's a threat, either there's a player revolt or some sort of dressing room unrest, or unless there is an opportunity to improve on your manager in the immediate time. And he used Nuno as the example, saying we sacked Nuno because he wasn't going down well with the fans, but also the other part of that story was there was Conte that was available then. In a world where Tottenham Hotspur don't improve, in a world where Tottenham fans continue to grow restless, if there is a sacking, I know that this is less likely now because of Eddie Howe's brilliant performance against Manchester City, but Eddie Howe 3 days ago, Newcastle fans were calling for his head. Liverpool fans are calling for, or some elements of it are calling for Arnie Slot's head. If there was a situation to improve the manager because one of those two or someone else became available, would any of you jump on board the idea of literally sacking Frank, despite the fact that he hasn't had the time, but because there is just a better option available that there might not be at the end of the season or there might not be in a year's time?
I mean, Arne Slot, the reason I mentioned Arne Slot is because when Conte left, Arne Slot was my number one choice above everybody else. Clear, absolute favourite. Like Eze, like Hincapié, I thought he was coming to Spurs. I let myself get carried away and dreaming on it. And I got absolutely slaughtered. Actually, quite early on last season when he lost at home to Nottingham Forest 1-0. And they went on to win the league. They were very quiet, those people. And now the people who seem to have got very good memories are now coming back. See, if you'd have got your Arne Slot at Spurs, it would have been a disaster. They're the same people that wanted Ange in. They're the same people that wants Frank out. You can't win, Sean. I wouldn't sack Frank to get slots. I would have to sack Frank because he wasn't managing properly and we carried on losing games. In that case, yes, I would take slots, but only if we were carrying on.
It wouldn't. So yeah, my point is opportunity-based sackings, i.e., he's not doing great, but he's not doing bad enough to get sacked. But guess what? There's a manager available that we can get in now. That if we don't get him now, he'll go somewhere else. That's
well. Listen, there's one thing that I said, and I will stand by this. The new ENIC have got one massive cop out. They can sack Thomas Frank and say it was nothing to do with us. It was a Daniel Levy signing, and wash their hands of it and say we're going to start fresh. This is all on us. So they've got one free get out of jail card. New ENIC. That's a fact, whether we like it or not, and they could use that card.
Fair enough.
Unless Frank's doing badly.
Yeah, he is doing badly.
No, but
listen. I mean, look, Slot's 12th now. Though Liverpool dropped to 12th, Newcastle are 14th.
Yeah, and he hasn't got any excuses. Let's be honest. Slot's got.
Slot's doing disastrously, man. Slot is the worst manager at the moment. The money they spent.
There is the opportunity. There is the opportunity next summer. If Frank doesn't work out, you pick up you give Poch a call. You bring him home.
You take Poch back, would you, Lubo? Yeah, bring him home.
With providing he's going to get the right backing. Because to be honest with you, if they don't back whoever it is, whether it's Frank, whether it's Pochettino, whoever it is, if these guys, Lewis's Mark II, ENIC Mark II, if they don't back the manager, it's a waste of time. They may as well sell the club because we're going.
They're not going to sell the club.
No, I'm just saying to you that for me, there's no point them being here if they're just going to let the club idle along.
Of course there is. Of course there is. They can make a fuck ton of money.
Well, I'll be with you at the front of the demonstration. you and Billy T and Stell.
Fortunately for people like Billy T and yourself and Stell, yellow isn't my colour. I don't want to look like a fat Christmas decoration. So I'm gonna just go down there wearing. I'll be there. I'll be there if it goes tits up. But I won't be donning the colour scheme. Guys, listen. Sorry, Stell. I didn't get a shot. Sorry, I didn't come to you. Would you take part in an opportunistic sacking?
No. I think the smart thing to do, and like I've said, if we get rid of him, I don't care. If we keep him, I don't care. I think the smart thing to do is let Frank have this season, see where we end up, see what we do, see if we get him any players in January, see what he does when some of the injuries come back, actually properly assess it at the end of the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And at the end of the season, that would be a time for ENIC to do what Johnny said. They can use their get out of jail card if they want or not, and either back Frank, or that's when you sack him. Identify your new manager before that, whether it's Glasner or Iriola, which are the two I would have preferred, and say, right, you're coming in. This is a new Tottenham, new era, new way of doing transfers. Let's do it. Let's now build a project. But I wouldn't do that until the summer. And because when it's mid-season, it's a bit scatty, it's a bit disjointed. It can go either way. Either you get that honeymoon period, or you just completely capitulate. I wouldn't do anything until the summer.
He's not doing anywhere near bad enough to get sacked, is he? Let's be honest.
We don't know. God knows. Who knows?
I think his football stinks, but I don't think you can sack a manager mid-season based on just unattractive football.
We're Tottenham, Sean. We're Tottenham. Right? We're
capable of anything. We're capable of anything, aren't we?
Joe's probably giving. I mean, Vivian. Are they the same person? Have you ever seen Joe and Vivian in the same room?
I couldn't even tell you who Vivian Lewis is. I don't know what she looks like. You know, I've got no idea.
They paid Ange. I think they paid 7 million. I think they paid another 10 for Frank and his team. They paid 17 million to get Ange out and Frank in.
How much did Conte get?
Conte got. I think he
got 20 million, didn't he?
It was a year and a half, or a year and 3 months, or something.
Conte was on the biggest
just over a
salary.
year. Yeah, it was 20 million.
Yeah, he was on 14 million quid a year, so he would have got about 18, 19, 20 million, something like that. Yeah, crazy.
Conte did an absolute number on us, man.
Yeah. This the club, paying me my money. This the club. That's the guys ringing around it off.
Hang on. Every word he said was correct. Every word.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know about that. He was just he leaves the same kind of destruction everywhere he goes.
Same Chelsea, Napoli.
It's the same thing everywhere he goes, mate. He did it to Como back in the day. He's a joke. He's a joke manager.
I'm not disputing that.
Anyway,
what he said about the club was spot on.
59-34.
Yeah, we're gonna drop it off, guys. Massive thank you to everyone. Please get over to Spurs Corner, to Twitter, to Lubo on Twitter, to Johnny. All the links are in the description. Football Inc. and Spurs Talk Show. We'll see you on Thursdays. Lubo, we'll save the guest for Thursday, but it's a special one. It's going to be fun. Appreciate everybody. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks everyone for the super chat. See you again soon. Bye.